Oh, and welcome back to the Variant Geek Podcast. I am Brennan.
And I am Zach.
And for today, we're going to be talking about the good, the bad, the ugly. I mean, mostly good, honestly, from what I've seen, of some of the TV mediums, to series and whatnot, animated, live action, etc., that have come out so far in 2022, and some of our honorable mentions, even maybe from last year. Woo! But first,
Yeah.
any news on your end?
For what?
I don't know, anything.
Some big news. We got a trailer today for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. That was pretty cool.
I will commit mass genocide of nations for Lechonk.
I love Lechonk, a little pig boy, and I just love how they named him Lechonk.
Like, they know what they're doing. Lechonk.
Do you know which one you're gonna go with? Yeah, either Violet or Scarlet.
Probably Violet, because I already told you in our group chat, I'm not a huge personal fan of the Jets. Just look funky and sound funky in Violet on the Legendary, but I mean it's no less valuable. it's still
Yeah.
it's still cool. It's just not doesn't tickle my fancy as much as the other one does. I got some quick news. We got a developer update for Space Marine 2.
Oh.
That was pretty cool. They just kind of talked about like what's gone into the game and what it seems like this one's a big passion project because everyone involved has played or read stuff with 40K. So like I'm really excited. I mean, they got some good stuff going.
Uh-huh.
But anything? I mean, we got that release date for Violet and
Yeah, November 18th. So those of y'all that are looking forward to put some more Pokemon, there you go.
Woo! We've had so much Pokemon in the last couple of years, man.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what?
I'm
I'm
not
not
complaining.
playing.
It's just like, well, anyway. All right.
Into the TVs.
Do you want to start?
Sure. I'll start with my biggest surprise of this year, and I honestly, it's one of my like I would say it's like a top 10 favorite show for
You're
me.
gonna say Peacemaker, aren't you?
Yeah, I was so surprised by John Cena's performance. I was
Yeah.
expecting it to be so bad,
I didn't
and
expect it to be bad. I expected it to be campy. You know what I mean?
it was just amazing.
It was
Every
great.
episode.
It was great. We got to see a lot more depth from John Cena as an actor than we've ever seen, and I really like that.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
when Peacemaker was in the new Suicide Squad movie, I mean, he did a great job with that character. Don't get me wrong. It was just like I didn't really see how they were going to make a whole series based on
Yeah,
that
exactly.
character.
I was
I was
like,
like,
why?
I don't know if you can make that charm last for a whole show. And then it happened, and I went, hey, that's pretty good.
And you know it was going to be great right after that amazing, amazing intro.
Oh my goodness. I literally was listening to the song today on repeat while I was doing some yard work.
That just the music it was a great choice of music. The choreography is amazing.
The
The
whole
fact that
show
they're
all
all
around,
stone faced.
or the whole show's music all around is what I was trying to say. It all fit so great. The friggin' piano rendition of Home Sweet Home that John Cena played. What the heck?
Yeah.
Why was it so good?
And like not even just John Cena's character, but here I'm actually gonna pull up
Everybody.
the IMDb page.
Wow, you don't know the actors' names?
No, I also don't remember some of the characters' names exactly right offhand.
Wow, you pulled it.
Obviously I remembered Vigilante. Vigilante was
Freddie
hilarious.
Stroma, right?
Yeah, I think so. He
Yeah.
did a great job. That character was funny.
Jennifer
Um,
Holland as Amelia Harcourt was amazing.
okay.
Dude, she was just a certified badass. And like
No, yeah.
it wasn't both her and I'm blanking on her name right now. But the gal that played what's her nuts daughter?
Adebayo.
Adebayo. Yeah. Friggin' amazing characters. Like that's I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast at all with like Star Wars with Rey being a Mary Sue, or just how much media is just oversaturated with like female characters being like great at what they do for no reason. like we got to see so much development by both their characters, and like Adebayo, for example, becoming more of a badass, whereas the direct parallel with Harcourt, like she already is a certified badass and like kind of opening up more and being a human. And they were both equally just strong, badass female characters. And it's like, that's how you do it, man. That's how you do it.
Yeah. And then yeah, Economos did a great job. I loved his character,
I
how he was
love the fact that we were that I was
constantly
in it.
getting dogged on every episode, but he
Yeah.
took it and
And
he
then
was there for the team.
I never remember how to pronounce his name, but it's like Chukwudi Iwuji, the guy that played Mern.
Yeah.
Amazing. Great twist. Even though we saw it coming, like I wasn't complaining. It was still a great reveal.
Hmm.
If you know, you know. I don't want to say too much.
Robert Patrick as the White Dragon, or
Dude,
Peacemaker's
why was
dad,
he able
was
to play the
great.
princess so easily?
That role was a little too easy for him.
And also, you got to talk about Tom Hook.
Ah, yes,
Like
because Bacadito, the current head of student life, looks exactly
Lachlan
like,
Monroe.
yeah.
Exactly the same.
And obviously, I know I've said obviously like 10 times already, but the star of the show was Eagly.
So good. Why was I feeling so bad for a CGI eagle whenever he got like smacked?
I know. Whenever I think when we saw Eagly die at one point, we all got really upset.
We thought Eagly died.
Yeah, he's still alive. Eagly's still alive and kicking. But yeah, overall, great show. I was not expecting anything from that show, and it blew my expectations out of the water.
Yeah.
Onto, we'll do a complete 180 onto a show that I have not finished, and I don't think I will finish for a long time, is Halo. The first like 20 minutes were really cool, especially seeing those kids get vaporized
Dude, when that
just
kid's
out of
head said,
nowhere.
I'm a head out, I was like, okay, wasn't expecting that. Hats off to you.
And the first combat scene was like pretty cool, but the story just kind of took a dive, and Master Chief removed. We knew it was going to happen, but the fact that it happened in the first episode, and then from my understanding is he rarely ever wears his armor
So I've
throughout
watched,
the rest of the
I
series.
finished the show now.
Oh,
Um,
you did?
I had to. I had to power through because I wasn't gonna just sit there and I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna be a negative Nancy and just say the whole show's bad if I haven't watched the whole show. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I watched all of it, and while I still have similar criticisms where I've been a longtime fan of the Halo franchise, it's not my favorite thing, but I respect it more now that I finished the show. I don't think some of the acting is kind of garbanzo beans. Pablo Schreiber, I mean, he did amazing, honestly. Like, you can only do so much. It's just like Hayden Christensen with the prequels. Like, some of those lines were doggy doo doo, as much of a fan as I am, and he did his best. It's the same concept to me. It's not like he controls how they write the character, he just portrays it. And I think he did a great job portraying a younger Master Chief. And back to the helmet bit, I'm not as peeved about it as I was at the initial removal of it because I get it. They're trying to make the character more human. In the games, they don't take it off because then it's a faceless protagonist, and then the player can be like, I'm Master Chief. He looks like me. I get it. And you can't really have that in the TV show. I mean, you could, but like, I get why they're not. Um, Still some questionable stuff like the love scene. I was like, why? That is not needed. Anyway, the action scenes, phenomenal for the most part. Some of them looked a little janky sometimes with the Spartan armor. Since it was practical and not CG, it looked a little goofy at times. But overall, yeah, I don't know. I'd give it like like I would give it a generous like 5.5 personally.
Fair enough.
Peacemaker, I'd give a 9.5.
Oh yeah, I give Peacemaker a solid 9.5 out of 10.
The only reason I wouldn't give it a full 10 is because of the predictability of the show. I just forgot to give it a rating. But that's not even necessarily a negative. I still loved it and was there every episode. Like, let's go. But yeah, Halo, kind of a dud for me. But I respect it more if that makes sense. Now that I finished it.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll take another 180 again.
Yeah.
just gonna keep flipping 180s. And a show that I was really excited to watch with you and with even Sal and I think Davis occasionally, just because I haven't really had people to watch anime with. Demon Slayer season 2,
Bruh.
the Entertainment District arc.
Bruh.
Oh my god. I already knew what was going to happen because I read the manga beforehand
Right.
and I finished the manga, but it was still amazing to see it animated. And that animation, like whoever works at UFO Table deserves like a 10 times raise. That was some of the best animation I have seen in an anime or
Oh
in
yeah.
just animation in general.
If
Like
they don't win animation
beautiful.
again, I'd be surprised.
Oh my god! And then obviously the story's obviously a little bit predictable,
Yeah,
but
it's predictable, but um, okay, it's not fair that I like some of the stuff. Okay, we're gonna venture into spoiler territory, so ye be warned. If you haven't seen second season of Demon Slayer and you plan to and you don't want spoilers, just kind of I don't know, skip ahead. I don't know how long we're gonna talk, so good luck. But like the fact that I called what happened with Tengen, with him getting his hand cut off and him getting sliced through and all that, I called it, but we're also talking about me. I overanalyzed the fuck out of everything. And
yeah,
don't worry, I screenshotted when I said a naughty naughty, so I got you. Uh, but like, yeah, it was predictable because of the age group that the show is for. But honestly, holy crap, that show was amazing. There was little to no filler, which I
there
appreciate.
was no filler.
Huh?
There was no filler.
Exactly. But I mean, like, not filler like with like Naruto filler. I mean filler like there wasn't like a lot of like pointless scenes that were like, oh, they needed to
Like
fill a couple extra
it
minutes.
had a good pace to it. It didn't feel slow at any point,
Yes,
really.
it had really good pacing, really good. The animation was amazing. I don't know how. Granted, we still got 6 months of the year left. I don't know how anything could beat it out for animation or best fight at this point. I haven't seen a lot of anime from this year, but it's an unfair contest, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, when near the end of the second to last episode, Tanjiro is about ready to cut off Gyothoro's head, and then
He pulls the kunai out
what's
of his
his oh
leg.
gosh, what's his sister's name? It's not like Maki or some no.
Which one? Who are you talking about?
The demon sister.
Oh, Boobles.
Yeah.
That's her name now.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
keep talking. Just keep talking.
Anyways, when she was about to help him, and then Zenitsu just springs out and goes godlike speed
Oh
and
yeah.
about takes her head off. And then, Tanjiro's fighting him back, is about ready to die, and then Tengen just pops out of nowhere, one armed, just annihilating Gyotaro. It was just, and then the screaming between him and Gyotaro was just great voice acting, even though it was just screaming. And the
A lot
screaming
harder than people
between
think.
Inosuke, Zenitsu, and Tanjiro was also just phenomenal. And actually being able to see Tanjiro manifest the Demon Slayer mark, which they
Daki.
explain they explain more as the
Daki.
series goes on. But Maki, that's okay.
Daki.
Oh,
D. D.
Daki,
D.
Daki, that's it. I was close.
Yeah.
But
Maki's
God,
Fire Force.
that's right. But yeah, that show great. I loved it. Was every single time we would sit through the opening like we did
And
with
every single one of
Peacemaker.
us. Da 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 da.
So good.
Even
It's
did on
my
the end.
favorite Demon Slayer opening so far. I actually like it more than season one's.
Yeah, and I was kind of still in like the honeymoon phase of the season one opening the first time we watched it, and I was like, ugh, I don't like it. And then like by the third episode, I was screaming lyrics. So it got me. It's very good, and like it's back to the animation. They did a great job with it. The whole opening as a whole, like the song "Bustin' Bustin'" on its own, but put with the animation of that opening, phenomenal.
Yeah. And
Great job,
then
UFO Table.
mm, Keeping on the anime train while
Up,
we're
up, up,
on
up, up,
it.
up, up. What are you gonna rate it?
Oh, I would give Demon Slayer season two probably a solid 8.5 out of 10.
I'd have to match you on that. Yeah.
Keeping on the anime train. I know you haven't seen these shows, but everybody's loving Spy Family, which has come out. I read the manga a little bit beforehand and I stopped because I just kind of wanted to watch it. It's amazing. It's really wholesome. It's hilarious. It's about, for those of you that don't know what it's about, and want to kind of, or might be interested, it's about a spy called Twilight, who his goal is to basically make it into like a social function and interact with one of the head people of the government, of the, I think it's like the Eastern government. But the only way to do that is through, um, having his own daughter go through this really prestigious school and then become an honor student and then go in and they have like a meet and he's able to meet with him and it's order to basically save the world because it's to stop a war from breaking out. And so he makes a fake family where his wife is an assassin, but he doesn't know that. His daughter that he finds in just a random orphanage is a telepath, and his wife's brother works for the anti-spy agency for the government. And just the whole interaction between them is really funny. Watching Anya, who's I think she's one of the best female characters I've seen, at least one of the funniest. It's just hilarious. I love the show. I'd give it a solid like 9 out of 10 right now. There's still, I think, between like 3 and 7 episodes left on season one. And then also Tomodachi Game, which is also airing right now. It's kind of like Squid Game, which we'll get into as an honorable mention, just because it came out last year. But Tomodachi Game is basically called Friend Game, and one of your friends is in a lot of debt, and so they enter the Tomodachi Game, and your goal is to basically play these childhood games and get rid of as much debt as possible. And the main character is one of those characters that like is really dark, but he's one of those conniving characters that you don't know anything about him really, but you just love seeing him work and just come up with these really like kind of what's the word I'm thinking of, like intricate plans to solve a lot of the games. And just it's such a good show. I highly recommend it. And it's on Crunchyroll. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if it's on HBO Max. It might be, but it is for sure on Crunchyroll. Uh, and going off of that, we'll go to Squid Game as the honorable mention. I'll let Brendan talk about that for a little bit.
Oh, I was gonna stay in this here. I was gonna wait for honorable mentions till the
Oh,
end.
okay. Well, then if we're gonna stay in this here, we'll go with Moon Knight.
Can I talk about something since you've been talking?
Oh yeah. What show do you got?
Okay, so I know you haven't seen The Offer, but I have. So The Offer, it's on Paramount. It's the last episode's coming out tomorrow. 10 out of 10 recommend. Anyone who's a fan of like mafiosa crime or even like docu-series for anything, 12 out of 10 recommend. It's about how they made The Godfather, and anyone who's at least heard of The Godfather. There's no spoilers to the story really. Well, that's a lie, but I mean, it's been out for this long. Like that's on you. But no, it's oh, it's so good. Miles Teller does an amazing job playing Al Ruddy, the producer of The Godfather, and it's all the craziness that went in to making this movie. People were threatened. People got almost killed over this because the actual mafia was pissed off about this book because they thought it made them look like a joke. So they tried to stop this movie getting made at every turn, even as much as when Al was sitting in his car having a guy pull up and shoot out all the windows of his car with him in it as a warning. Like scary stuff, man. Like I couldn't even imagine going through that. The head of Paramount Movies, when he was staying in New York City, they put a dead rat in his bed. And just like it's just all the crazy lengths people went to make this movie not get made and people to get it made. And it's a very interesting story. It's very well done. The acting is amazing. It's some of the best I've seen from a lot of these actors, and I will be rewatching it because it's very interesting. It's great music, great cinematography. The story clips along. There's a couple slow points in a couple episodes, but I mean, for the most part, it's very good, and I highly recommend it.
What would you give it out of 10?
Well, I still got one episode to watch when it comes out, but out of 10, I'd so far give it. I'd give it an 8.
Okay.
I don't want to be too
Uh,
generous, but
yeah. A show we both watched that ended a little bit before we um, graduated was Moon Knight.
mm-hmm.
That I really liked it. As a psych major, I think it's a great. Yeah,
You really just
got to
pulled
make some
that
use
card.
of this degree.
Mm.
Um, I think they did his multi-personality really well.
Yeah, I think
And
it's more of a credit to Oscar Isaacs too.
oh yeah, 100%.
That ain't easy.
And
That is not easy to do.
I will say now, spoiler for the last episode, the after credit scene, them bringing in his third personality,
To kill Hero.
Jake Lockley, I think that's his name.
Yeah,
Correct me
something
in the
like that.
comments if I'm wrong. But that was really cool. Glad to see him in there now. And I'm really excited for, another season of it, should they do it.
Yes. Very good. Very,
The
very good.
combat was good. The music was actually really well done.
It was more brutal than I expected for
It
Disney.
was. Because we haven't really seen Disney go that kind of violent, I guess,
No.
in a show in particular. Obviously, you have the Netflix shows that are now on Disney Plus that Disney
Mm-hmm.
owns, but shows that were originally made by Disney, you haven't seen them get this really dark yet.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was really good. I give it a solid like 8 out of 10. Um, yeah. Anything else you want to say about it, Brennan?
I'd give it a 7.5.
Fair enough.
I didn't like Khonshu, to be honest.
Really, I actually kind of
I
like
I
Conchu.
didn't like that a Egyptian god was very much voiced by a very obvious white guy. That's just me. I don't care if the avatars weren't necessarily like Egyptian or whatnot. It was just a little weird that a member of the original like Egyptian pantheon was white. It's a very big, like a very personal critique. I don't think it takes away from the show in any way. I just when he's like, "Oh, the idiot's back," I was like, "Oh, that's what we're doing." Okay, and like I got over it. Like it is what it is. I didn't even really think about it until I was talking about it the other day with one of my cousins, and he kind of had the same critique. I was like, "Shit, yeah, I kind of forgot about that." I didn't even like. It's one of those things that at first it threw me off, but not for the whole show. If that makes any sense.
Hmm.
Like it's
And
not a
then
major streak. And then yeah, it's good overall.
another show I'd like to just quickly throw in there that for the most part, was out this year was Attack on Titan season 4, part 2, which it was great. Attack on Titan is goated. It always will be. The season was great. I already know what's going to happen because I read the manga beforehand because I was impatient. So I don't like waiting an entire year to get the next 12 episodes. The fighting was good. The animation was really good. Story was heart wrenching. Great moments. I really sucks that they're doing a season 4 part 3 that comes out next year in January, but it is what it is. But I'd give it a solid like 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. No, 8.75 out of 10.
Jesus, move on.
Uh, Another show that came out this year that was okay, that we all watched was The Boys Diabolical, the animated series
It's
that
all
they
right.
had for it.
I think the charm wore off halfway through the show.
Yeah, and it was just a lot of blood and gore and violence. That's
Yep.
pretty much all it was.
Yep.
Which I mean, that is The Boys. Granted, the actual series is a lot more in depth and has a lot more character drama.
Yeah, this was over. It was oversaturating. Something. It was too much of a good thing.
Yeah. Um. Other than one other one, I can't think of any other shows that we've seen that have come out this year so far.
Mm-mm. And we'll be
Uh,
before anyone flips out in the comments, we will be doing an entire follow along series on Obi-Wan because that's such a big deal to both of us.
yeah,
Don't think we're forgetting about that.
trust me, we are
um
definitely not. Obviously, We have we'll do our honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Arcane that came out last year was
Bruh.
I hate League of Legends. Most people hate League of Legends. League of Legends is very toxic. I'm sorry
Jason.
if you yeah, Jason. If you play League of Legends, I'm sorry. Um, there are better things to do. I'm sorry. But the show is so good.
Yes.
The music was bussin' on God, on God. And I mean, I'll go figure. Imagine Dragons wrote themselves into the universe.
Kind of funny. Or the producers. Well,
Yeah,
I don't even know. Whoever wrote it
but
in.
it was a great show. I was not expecting it to be that good, just like with Peacemaker, and it blew my expectations out of the water again,
Mm-hmm.
and did everything. I think pretty much. There were some things that were like a little iffy, but I think like one of my favorite moments is when uh, Echo, I think that's his name, is
Mm-hmm.
fighting Jinx on the bridge, and
That's a very popular favorite.
that
Yes.
little scene with the watch and everything was really well done.
It's awesome.
The ending caught me off guard. I was not expecting Jinx to launch. Spoilers, but the show has been out for almost a year now.
Yeah.
Um, I was not expecting Jinx to launch that giant rocket at the policymaker, whatever their names are.
Up into Piltover at the
Yeah,
council.
and
Yeah.
just probably kill all of them.
Nope, not all of them. I know
Well,
things
yeah,
you don't.
obviously not
I
all
know
of them,
something you don't.
just because a lot of those characters are actual characters in
Yes, that's the only
LOL.
reason it didn't catch me off guard is because I knew baseline lore of League from when I played it in high school because my friends made me. I hate you all.
Another show that we did not expect to be that good and actually made me cry was Squid Game.
Yeah, that was kind of funny watching you and Sal cry. Honestly, I was like,
I
wow. I was like,
loved him
is
so
this my
much.
villain psychopath villain arc? Like, is that what this is right now?
It's
It was
so
just so
good. I was
because we didn't even know anything about it when it was coming out.
no,
There was no
because it
really
wasn't popular at that
no,
point yet.
there was no hype around it, but literally like a day and a half after we watched the first couple episodes is when it boom became super popular because it was we sat down, we were just scrolling through Netflix and we were like, huh, that sounds interesting. We played the first episode and we went, damn, that shit whack.
Yeah, and then you because I think that is in the first episode where they play red light, green light,
Yes,
and then they die. Like you see the first person get shot.
and they all think
And
it's
you're
like
like,
paintballs or something. I don't remember exactly, but they're like, oh okay.
yeah,
But
and
then
just
one person's like, why is it warm?
so I the writing was really well done. It was really interesting that the person who wrote the script, he wrote the script well over 10 years ago and he's been trying to get somebody to pick it up.
But
But
nobody
no,
would.
yeah, nobody thought it would actually be a good show, a hit show. And 10 years later, Netflix picks it up and it is a huge moneymaker. So much so that when we were in Mitchell, when they first released the Funko line for Squid Game, a bunch of them were stolen.
Yeah, people stole like the whole line. They had to institute new. I know it's a thing like out here, where in Washington it already is a thing where they're all security chipped and everything because it's such a stolen item constantly. But seeing it happen in Mitchell was just I was like, oh wow, this is a phenomenon.
Yeah, well, great show. I love pretty much every minute of it. When Ali, spoilers, when Ali died, I was
Haha.
so sad. I was rooting for him. He was the homie, and then of course he had to trust that I don't remember his name, but and get a bag of pebbles and not the marbles was just so sad.
Yeah.
And then one other show, unless you have any other shows from last year that I want to mention, is The Witcher season two,
Mm-hmm.
which came out around Christmas time last year. I liked it a lot more than season one. The action was there for me. I really, really loved that they got a smaller actor to play Vesemir,
Yes.
um,
It
because
actually fit the character
they hired somebody that fit the character and that could play the character very well instead of hiring some big name that
instead of hiring star power. But
yeah, exactly.
which is that was one thing that was kind of funny was that was kind of how the whole show's been going, and it has been since the beginning. I appreciate. Yes, they had technically the star power of Henry Cavill, um, but thankfully he actually, we've talked about him. Homie's a big old nerd.
Oh yeah, and I love Peter Beatty. Yeah, that's
Yep.
his name. Yeah. He's very talented. I don't know if I can think of anybody right offhand that could actually play the role of Yaskier or Dandelion as well.
Mm-mm.
And he also has a really good singing voice.
I think Zach Sempino.
I I love Burn Butcher Burn a lot more than Toss a Coin Dear
Toss a
Winter.
coin. Yeah.
And I
Well,
think
that actually
actually
tells a
even
better story, I think.
oh yeah. And I also even think because I didn't know they actually have full songs on Spotify until you told me about it.
Yeah.
I really like Horse in Prison Blues as well.
Kind of funny.
But great show. I love the fights. It sets up season 3 really well. Because the Wild Hunt and literally everybody wants Siri.
Yeah.
And I'm excited because obviously the people that the actors are doing that are doing the show, the writers, the director, everybody truly cares about the story, and you can tell. And I highly, highly, highly recommend watching it.
He's good.
Any other show?
I
Uh,
cannot believe you're forgetting one of my favorite shows that we all watched this year. One of the best shows that
oh
I've
my,
seen in a
oh my
long,
gosh, how did I forget
long
about
time.
it?
Vox Machina.
It was on my list too. I don't know how I forgot about Vox Machina.
So freaking good. All I have to say about it, if you like fantasy, if you like crude humor, if you like badass action sequences, if you like not always sunny and happy and sometimes guess what, kids die, and you like D&D, go watch that shit. That's all I have to say about it. That's literally it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's a 10 out of 10 to me.
Oh, 100%. And like, the voice acting, phenomenal because they got the
Obviously, because they
yeah,
got the
'cause-
people.
yeah, they got the people that play the characters in
That
the
being said,
critical role.
I also really do like they did a lot of really good work on seeking out voice actors that fit characters really well, and it was really cool to me being a longtime fan. For those who don't know, Vox Machina is the putting to story the campaigns of Critical Role. Excuse me, voice actor ran D&D podcast that's been going on for a while now. And as being a longtime fan of Critical Role, I was really curious to see how these characters are going to come to life because obviously not every person in the show could be voiced by Matt Mercer.
Yeah. I mean, he voiced a lot of them,
He's
but
still in there a lot, yeah, but like just some of the star power they brought to the table was just incredible for that show, and it's just crazy.
mhm.
It's so good, man, and
And
it
the
just
animation's great.
every episode just keeps getting better and better and more suspenseful and just more and more. It's just so good.
Highly recommend. As you can see, a lot of the shows we talked about, in this episode are really like we highly recommend, and that's because other than games are a little bit harder. They're on like the same wavelength to an extent, but like you watch 1 or 2 episodes of a show, and if you don't like it, you drop it. You
That's
don't
what happened with me with Halo in it first, but I finished
you
it.
don't really continue the show.
Right.
So, and that's kind of like gaming, you play the first 5, 6 hours, and you know you'll either continue playing it or you'll drop it if it doesn't interest you. So obviously there's a lot of shows we have not talked about that have come out this year and like within the past like 8 months or so, that if they're one of your guys' favorite, let us know in the comments. Let
Yeah.
us know what we
And there's
missed. Let
plenty of
us
stuff
know.
we missed, like from other like television networks, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
This is just
Let
we're
us
pretty
know what
much
other shows are really good because we're always looking for
we
recommendations.
always are. And that's the thing too, is this is we try to be a variety channel, but we're pretty much geek and nerd based, hence a lot of the fantasy sci-fi just happening in this talk. But every now and then we talk about things like The Offer, because crime,
Or
ooh,
yeah, Squid Game.
or Squid Game, yeah. So, yeah, just let us know. And I mean, obviously, we could do episodes about specific things if you want us to talk about them more. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Do we want to talk about some of our shows that we're looking forward to?
Vox Machina season 2. Peacemaker season 2.
Yeah. Really looking forward to seeing how Rings of Power and House of the Dragon do.
Jujutsu Kaisen season 2.
I am really excited for Jujutsu Kaisen season two, especially if they, because yeah, one of the fights in it should be really interesting.
Overlord season 4.
I am. I'm really glad you watched that show. I'm really excited for it. It comes out in July for
Woo!
those who want to watch it. Really excited that it's actually getting a season four. I'm really excited for Classroom of the Elite season two. It finally got a season two after like 5-6 years, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Uh, well, everybody thought it wasn't going to get a season two, but it did. So I'm really excited for it. I really like Ayana Koji, who's the main character, who's a lot like the main Yuichiro in Tomodachi Game. Uh, I'm really excited for Bleach Thousand Year Blood War arc. That has been, people wanted that for the past 10 years whenever Bleach ended the anime. Really excited for that. That should be really good. The animation looks really good. It's gonna probably take a long while to get through because it's a good chunk of the manga is just that arc. I'm really excited for Blue Lock, which is a really interesting spin on sports anime. Because usually in sports anime, it's about teamwork and working together and overcoming those obstacles, to win the championship.
What? Anyway.
I know, right? Who would have thought? But this one is it's kind of like a battle royale soccer. So they
What?
bring in a lot of these, phenomenal like high school soccer athletes, and basically, you compete, and if you get knocked out of the tournament, your soccer career for the rest of your life is over. You can't play professional soccer.
Ah.
And so everybody's working their ass off to screw over everybody else and just make sure they are the best. And it's going to be a really interesting spin on the sports anime um, genre. I'm also looking forward to, oh gosh, there's a that time I got reincarnated as a slime movie that's coming out, but I'll mention that more when we talk about movies. Oh my gosh, there's like a bunch of
I'm just gonna go out and say I'm hyped for all the Star Wars shows. I don't want to take the time to go through all of them because we're already at almost 40
oh my
minutes,
gosh,
but
yeah,
there's
there's
so
a
much coming
lot,
out.
which made me really excited. Um, really, the one I'm really excited for is the Tales of the Jedi, just
Mm-hmm.
because I really want to see a young Count Dooku, a young Mace Windu, and a young Qui Gon. It kind of sucks that they're focusing 3 episodes out of the 6 on Ahsoka because she's just in everything. Like I guess she's a fan favorite character, but it is what it is, and I'm sure it'll still be really good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let us know in the comments what other shows you guys are looking forward to, and I think we'll probably end the episode there.
Yes, bye bye.